Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Apologies for the noisy chair. I do need to get that sorted and buy a new one. Like I say, we're back with another one now, and this is one that I picked up from Home Bargains. One of 4 beers. 2 I've reviewed, which will be released in the next few days. One of them I did review. The other one, the review was shit, so I just didn't even bother with it. And this is the final one, and it's a beer, funny enough, that I have happened to have had before. And it was when I went on the old Caribbean cruise and we stopped off at some ports. It was in some of the shops there. So I saw it and I thought I'd pick it up. So all the way from the Caribbean to Home Bargains, Oswestry. And the beer is Carib Premium Lager. Clear bottle, shockingly. 330ml, coming in at 5%, and it cost me about £1.39. I believe it's brewed by Carib Brewery, and I believe they're out of Trinidad. I did try taking a photo of that and zooming in, and I think it's Trinidad, but if I am wrong, feel free to correct me. So there we go. There's the label. There's that horrible clear bottle, and there is the Carib Crown. Now they do a couple of beers. I think they do a stronger one than this. Although I know they do a stronger one, and I did have that. I think it's about 7% or something. Yeah, and it was alright, I think, from what I remember. So let's get this in. Whew, skunky. Getting that skunky aroma off it, which is no surprise, being in a clear bottle, and no doubt has been damaged by the light. So I'm going to get it all in there, because this glass, I think, is a little bit bigger than 330ml. Is it 330ml bottle? I don't know, I can't see properly. Yes, 330ml. Coming in at 5%, like I say, whew, horrible whiff off it, it's got to be said. But beer in a glass, sort of golden straw colour, lots of bubbles going up, just about a finger of white on top. Let's dive in with the nose, see what we get. Yeah, you get that typical. Whenever you get a beer out of a clear bottle, generally it always has that sort of little bit of a skunky aroma, which isn't always very pleasant. There is a citrus note, malty, a little bit syrupy if I'm honest. And that is about it. That is about it. Now I remember drinking it while I was out there. It was 30 degrees. I had it on a couple of stops in the Caribbean. It went down, it was wet, it done the job. And it was certainly something different from Foster's and Peroni and all that shit that, I was drinking on the boat, but not too much of it. I was drinking bottles of ale, but you know what I mean? For a lager wise, it was all right, But let's dive in, give it a go. Carib from Carib Brewery, Trinidad, I believe. Let's dive in. Cheers. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Certainly doesn't have the same effect on me now. I've got a feeling, tasting it just brings everything back to me, but I'm going to do my usual stuff first. %5 lager, yeah, not a bad body. I'm not going to say it's fantastic, but certainly a good sort of average body for a 5% sort of beer. Quite busy in the mouth, quite spiky carbonation. It's quite prickly on your palate. It's sort of smooth until that carbonation kicks in. Once that carbonation kicks in, the mouthfeel is a little bit, like I say, spiky, rough if you like. But liquid wise, it's quite soft, it's got to be said. On the taste, malty, syrupy, quite sweet. It is a little bit sort of sickly. I'm not going to say it's over. It's not ridiculously syrupy like some beers are. For instance, some of these real strong beers, they can be real syrupy and sweet and sickly. It's not on that, but it's got that feel about it. Yeah. Citrus notes in there. I'm not really going to say I get a hoppiness or anything. Syrupy, malty, citrus. No real bitterness in there. Yeah. It's not a great beer, if I'm honest. It's not a great beer. 5%. You don't get the 5%. I think it, you know, it's certainly in the ballpark of sort of 4.6 to 5%, you could say, but I wouldn't say you really sort of get that 5%. High fours is probably how it's drinking. Is it clean? Is it crisp? Is it refreshing? No. The carbonation sort of gives it a bit of a spiky, crisp refreshingness, but then the sweetness of the beer, the syrupy feel kicks in and it takes that all away, and it just feels a little bit sticky around the mouth. Yeah, it's not very good, to be honest. It really isn't. I mean, what you find sometimes getting to these countries when they brew beers, certainly I find sort of that area, sort of the Caribbean and that sort of thing, they do tend to be sort of sweeter beers for some reason. And I'm only just going to assume because that's just their ingredients and how it's brewed or whatever, how they like it, I guess. But yeah, it's not a great lager, to be honest. I mean, if you're a standard sort of lager drinker, you might like it, you might find it a bit too sweet, but it's not a particularly good beer, if we're honest. It's not a particularly good beer. Again, one probably for your average UK lager drinker, if you like. So yeah, would I recommend it? If you're an average UK lager drinker, you may well like it. I wouldn't personally say go out and get that because it's going to match any German beer or Czech Pilsner. It ain't. Cheap as chips. If you want to give it a go, give it a go. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and Basil will be back again soon with another beer review. Cheers.